Hi everyone, my name's Mir. Some of you might know me as One Falcon. And if you hadn't heard, Rare had this contest recently where the six winners of it would be the first people in the world to get to play Sea of Thieves. And along with those six people were six more lucky superfans that got to join them for the experience. And I was unbelievably fortunate enough to be one of those superfans that got to go on this trip. And I'm just making this video because I wanted to share with you all what Sea of Thieves is all about, what we got to play and experience while we were there at Rare. So yeah, when we got there to the studio, we had like the grand tour of everything. We were taken into the barns there to see what everybody was up to. We were into the art barn, all those people working on the art and visual effects and models and graphics for Sea of Thieves, and then into the development barn. Yeah, we got to meet a bunch of the team. Everybody was super nice and just as excited as we were to be there because they got the opportunity to share what they've been working on for all this time. You could tell they were really passionate about Sea of Thieves and really believed in what they were doing and just really excited to get to like I said, just to share what they've been working on. So yeah, so we got to play Sea of Thieves several times. The build we were playing was in the Unreal Engine, and it looked like better than the trailer from E3 last year. Like actually getting to be in this world was surreal. But yeah, before I really go into that, we were led into the rooms where we got to play Sea of Thieves, and it was this room filled with like these booths that had a camera in there to record the player who was playing the game, lights, chair, the TV, and the controller. And it was kind of like this streaming booth, and there was 12 of them for the 12 people that were there. And connected to that was like this command center that had the feeds and audio in all these booths. And I think it was just to see like our experiences, like what we were expressing while we were playing the game at certain times. So yeah, so we were led into our booths, and there was a green and red light to let us know when to start playing and stop playing. And the first play session we were in there, the light was off, and so was the TV. But we'd put on the headsets, and the game was running. And before the game even started, like our experience playing the game, just getting to hear all the sounds that are going to be in it already like had us all immersed. I know the people I was playing with, my crew, they broke us up into these crews, 4 people each. That would be our teammates, throughout while we were playing. But we all decided to like stop talking to each other so we could listen to it. And you could hear crabs scurrying through the sand, parrots, the foliage rustling around, the ocean waves and the wind. And yeah, just right there, we were already like sucked into this pirate world. But then the green light turned on and this TV turned on, and we were met with like this just beautiful looking island. Like it turned out to be the actual island. My crew that we spawned on was the island from the E3 trailer. We figured out after some quick exploring. But yeah, just dense with trees and bushes, colorful like red flowers, and it was really pretty looking. And so as we were excited, we all were jumping around each other in the game, looking at each other's character models, and the amount of detail in all the character models was pretty surreal too. One of my crew members had like a claw-looking mechanical skeleton hand and an eye patch. One of us had a peg leg, I'm pretty sure. Pirate hat, bandana, torn up clothes. Someone was tatted out. Yeah, it was really cool to see how different all the character models were. Really helped out later on deciding like who was who when we were trying to assign certain roles to while we were on the ship, and to see who was an enemy, like someone else in another crew. Our crew, like whoever's on your same team, their gamer tag was green above their head, and opposing crew members, when they got close enough, their name was orange over their head, their gamer tag. But yeah, so we were jumping around each other all excited, and then we started flipping through the inventory, and I think we had a wooden plank, piece of wood, and a mug full of grog. And the first thing we did was try to interact with that, and we all drank all the bottle, like the whole cup of the grog, and shortly after we were drunk in the game, and you were literally, like, it felt like you were stumbling around while you're trying to move about. So that was pretty funny. Later on, when we were on the ship, we also did the same thing, drank the whole thing of grog while like we were in a battle, and trying to shoot cannonballs and like lower and raise the sails was pretty difficult, though hilarious. But yeah, so we did that, and there was our ship waiting there in the dock on the islands, and so we stumbled our way over there, and by the time we got on the boat, the grog had weared off. So before like we got to play, no one at Rare told us what to expect or how to play the game. There was no tutorials or instructions or anything. We were just given like a piece of paper that had all the button functions on it, and so we got on the ship and we're like, okay, let's set sail. How do we do that? And within minutes, we were like even shorter than that, we were able to like set sail and get going. We noticed that like, oh, what should we do? Probably raise the anchor. And so we looked around the ship and found this. I think it's called a capstan, and it's like this wheel with pegs on it, and you rotate it around to raise the anchor. And so someone interacted with that, and we're slowly turning around. And then I noticed that there was still like an interactive, like a button to press on it to help them out. And so we learned that all four of us raising it made it faster. And so we were spinning that around and raised the anchor. And as soon as one of us lowered the sails, which to figure that out, all we did was look up at the mast and followed one of the ropes down to the side of the boat, and did the pulley and lowered the sail, and the boat started moving. No one was in the captain's wheel or anything, but our anchor was raised and we were catching wind, so the boat started to move. So it was super easy to get moving, and as soon as somebody was up on the captain's wheel, which was the next thing somebody did, you could steer it, and we were sailing. Nobody told us anything to do. It was really intuitive. To set the sail length, I went up to the pulley that the rope was attached, interacted with it, said set sail length, and my camera view like looked up at the sail, but then nothing happened. And so I was like, okay, and I just pressed the left thumbstick down, and it lowered the sail, and pressing up was to raise it up. So it was really cool how intuitive the ship sailing was. Like, it's really simple. I hope I was able to explain that well, because playing it was just so easy. One thing we noticed though is that even though you're sailing, you're probably not going as fast as you can, and there's these little like wisps of wind in the air that you can see. They're not really distracting, but if you're looking for them, you'll see them. And not only can you set the sail length, but you can also set the sail angle. So if you catch the wind, you'll go faster. And so what was cool about that is there was another pulley right next to the one to set the length, to set the angle. And as you're setting the angle, if you hit the right angle, the masts, the sails will like puff out, to visually let you know that you're catching wind. So yeah, as soon as we did that, we got some major speed, and there was some island out in the distance that looked like, let's go explore that. It looks mysterious and fun. The draw distance is really awesome. You can see really, really far out there. Anything you see, you can sail to. And what was interesting and cool is that like from far away, it was just a silhouette of the island. And as you got closer, it would start to pop in. You could actually see what was on the island. But it kind of made it more mysterious and interesting, and made you want to go explore it more, because you didn't exactly know what it was up ahead. So yeah, so someone was on the captain's wheel, and another really cool intuitive thing we figured out is where is center and leftmost and rightmost on the wheel. And there's these little gold pegs. Like the ship wheel is filled with these wooden pegs. But the center and leftmost and rightmost are these gold pegs to help you let you know, because otherwise, if you didn't know where center was, you'd be constantly going left or constantly be going right. And along with the gold pegs is this little haptic feedback, little rumble in the controller that you know that you've hit that. So it made steering the boat really, really easy. We had someone up on the crow's nest, looking out for ships or what was up ahead, or if we're going to crash into something. Something that's interesting is that when the sails are all the way down, the captain can't see straight ahead. Whoever's at the helm of the boat, you can't see because the sails are in your way. So someone is constantly having to like spend time making sure that we don't run into something by being at the front of the boat or up in the crow's nest. But what you could do if you needed extra hands on deck to be doing other things than just look out is just raise the sails about halfway, so you'll lose some speed, but that gives full view of the captain, of who's ever steering the ship, to see everything. So somebody else can go, fire cannons off, or plug up holes in the hull of the ship. Well, so we saw somebody up in the crow's nest, and we saw another ship, and we're like, okay, let's do this. We got to fight them. And so we started heading over there, and as soon as we thought we were in range, 2 or 3 of us jumped on the cannons, so we still had someone steering, and we started firing at them. And as soon as that happened, of course, we heard firing and saw their cannonballs flying back at us. And as that happened, we're like laughing and like, yes, let's like sink them. And then all of a sudden you hear like the this leaking water, gushing water into the boat. And so I jumped off and ran down there, and there was tons of holes with water leaking in. And so I went up to it, and it says repair, like the interact, when you're over it. And I couldn't interact with it first, and I was like, oh, duh, the wooden plank we had before that we messing around with the inventory. So I equipped that, and I was able to repair it. And so you're hammering and putting the hole, covering it up, and then I ran back upstairs just to help fire the cannons. But in all the excitement, as we were sailing and shooting cannons, we were about to hit a rock, we realized. And somebody had the bright idea to drop the anchor to like completely stop our speed so we didn't run into this rock. And it was really cool. As we dropped the anchor, the boat, pivoted around it like you would kind of expect it to physics-wise. And we did like this 180 turn, which not only helped us from crashing into this huge rock protruding from the ocean, but lined us up for our next round of firing. So there's 4 cannons on each side of the boat. And so you just get out the cannon. If you need to switch sides, run over to the other side. We had infinite cannonballs in this build, so you're just firing. As you'd expect, it was kind of hard to tell if you were hitting the other ship or not, because waves could be getting in the way, or just based on distance, you have no idea like if you're hitting it. The captain, the helm was a little up higher on the ship, so he could see better, and so our captain was telling us like higher or lower like angle for the angle for our cannons. But something that we figured out shortly after firing cannons is for every hit you get on the enemy ship, like this music piratey theme cue starts playing. And it was really fun as we all figured that out as we were all barraging it with our cannons, but each of us one by one saying, I got music, to signal that we like hit them. And if you kept like getting direct hits, it would string along this tune kind of this pirate thing until when you finally sunk their ship, it would just play out the song. But that was a lot of fun, and a really good visual like audio cue to let you know that what you're doing is right, and keep at that angle of your cannonballs. Unfortunately, we didn't get to hear that sinking music until a couple other battles later, because we sunk in this first encounter we had. I was the only one down below filling up the holes, and that wasn't enough people down there, considering that they were just getting hit after hit after hit. And so our ship sank and capsized, and I was stuck under the hull, so as it was sinking, I couldn't even get out and swim to the surface. I just sank with the ship. What was interesting about the ship, though, and we kind of learned it was like kind of a strategy, is you want to aim your cannons at the bottom of the hull. There's like 2 levels to the hull, and there's really no point in putting holes in the top one if it hasn't sunk to the lower, makes sense. So you want to aim at the bottom and put holes in there and sink it so the ship lowers to the second level of the hull, and then start putting holes in that until it completely sinks. We didn't learn that till like our second play session, I think. But yeah. So, like, also in our some other play sessions, people were getting a little more risky, and something that was really funny that happened to us is, as we were in the middle of a ship battle, we were, like, going parallel like that, firing cannons off at each other, and somebody from the other ship's crow's nest jumped down off their boat onto our boat and lowered our anchor. and we had no idea that we were even like stopped moving because we were so concentrated on firing cannons until it was too late, and they were just doing circles around us, pelting us, and we were just there dead in the water. And their guy who had jumped off onto a boat and like lowered anchor had jumped off and swum back to their boat. So that was a pretty cool strategy. That had like, just what's really cool about the game is it's so free. Like the sandbox they're making, you can really do anything you want. Like you can climb on every part of the ship you want, climb all over the islands, swim to the islands. Like it's just they're creating this really huge open sandbox for all kinds of possibilities. Like if you can think of it, you can probably do it from the build that we were playing. One of my favorite moments was when, so there was 2 other crews, so 12 people total, 4 people in each crew, and we all had agreed to a truce, and we were going to meet up at this one island that had a tavern and drink all our grogs together. And so our crew had the idea to, as everybody was in there and they all drink, we don't drink, and we run out and steal all their ships, and they'd be too drunk and stumbling around to even stop us. So we all met in the tavern, and everybody took their drinks except us, and them taking the drinks was a cue to split. And it was kind of a kerfuffle, and we only got 2 of the 3 ships, but as we were leaving, we sunk the 3rd ship so they couldn't come after us. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm really not that evil in real life, but it was pretty fun to have that piratey moment in the game. The game world itself was huge. We never had any load screens. The only load screen we had is when we all died and we all spawned back on another island. Didn't hit any barriers or the edge of the world or anything like that. I don't know how it's gonna like play out in the final game, but it really helped that immersion to not have any load screens or any of those barriers. Like just the whole world was yours to sail to and explore. And for those that like don't want to be in ship battles, it seemed really easy to like steer away from that. Like we were actively looking for other ships, and it seems like if you wanted to, you could just keep to yourself, and if you saw something, maneuver your way out and kind of hide off into an island. And sailing the ship yourself, it's definitely possible to sail the ship like with one person. You raise the anchor slowly though, because as I mentioned before, the more people on it, the faster it goes. Lower the sails and jump onto the helm and steer yourself away. And if you want to slow down, you can do that maneuver where you drop the anchor real quick, or you can lower the sails and then drop the anchor real quick. But it definitely helped to have more people, especially if you wanted to battle, like coordinating and just having somebody down low to fill the holes, and someone's shooting the cannons and someone's steering. The coolest thing, and I kind of like skipped over when I was talking about how simple it was to sail the boat, but there is no roles or classes. Like everybody is equal in that point, and it made it really fluid to command the ship, and you could do whatever you wanted. I mean, it like if your crew was okay with 4 people shooting cannons, nobody, filling the holes up, but you could fill any role quickly, and if you felt confident in your repairing holes ability or your cannon firing ability, then that was your role. But you could easily run up to the crow's nest and start watching, or run to the helm and start steering. And I really, really like that, because from the trailer last year at E3, it wasn't really clear like if there was going to be assigned roles. Like when you spawn, you had to choose that you were going to be the captain who was always steering, or you had to shoot the cannons off. That was like your assigned role. You can do whatever you want at any time, and that made it really, really fun. After multiple playthroughs, the whole player-driven story experience couldn't be more true. It was so much fun after each session getting to talk with everybody and hear their experiences of playing Sea of Thieves and their perspective of certain battles if you were part of that experience with them. Yeah, somebody was at the receiving end of our experience where they were stranded on the island as we commandeered their ships and sailed away. And the build we were playing was primarily just the ship fighting. All there was like the ships in our inventory. We just had the wood to repair the holes. But once I can't imagine what it's going to be like when some of those elements we saw from the E3 trailer last year, such as like the skeletons, if there's going to be sword fighting, like anything they add to the sandbox is just going to make it even more fun and more memorable. They have this base of the ship sailing and battling experience we had is so solid already, and it was so much fun. I've been thinking about, you know, what we could do, like what strategy we could do. The captain on the helm, if he feels like, you know, we're straightened up, he could jump down onto one of the cannons. All four people could be firing cannons for even more extra power. The whole jumping off the ship and onto someone else's ship and lowering their anchor, like just with the sailing the ships and how solid and fluid and intuitive that is. I'm so excited for when they add in even more things to the sandbox they're building. I'm sure there's tons that I'm forgetting to talk about right now. I wrote a couple articles over on my website that I'll link below for you to read fully in case I did forget something. But yeah, I just want to leave it and say that Sea of Thieves is a blast. It's a gorgeous looking game. It is super, super fun, and the possibilities of this pirate world they're building, just from this base foundation of the sailing, which they've nailed in my opinion, the possibilities are endless. Well, yeah, so that's everything I have. I'll keep making videos and writing articles on Sea of Thieves as I have content to, you know, talk and write about. So that's about it. All right, see you guys later.